welcome back. So today I just thought I just felt like making, because it's coming up to Halloween, like a spell book, a witch's spell book. So I have this old book cover which I have taken out the text block of. It's only small. It's about it's a bit smaller than A5. So I've got an A5 journal here, and you can see the difference in size. It's just slightly smaller. I thought it'd be nice to work with, a quick little project to do. So I'm thinking the first thing I want to do is age it up. I'm going to cover all this with paint, but first I think a layer of tissue paper might work quite nicely. So if you scrunch this up, you can get quite a nice effect. So I'm thinking to apply this with PVA glue all over, making it really scrunched up in places, and then I'm going to paint it. And then what I'm thinking is to use a glue gun to make some kind of kind of like recesses and stuff and patterns on the front. So I've got my PVA glue here. Now I know some people water this down, but I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to slap it on. So I want to cover this whole thing, but in places I really want to get that kind of creased up effect. So I might need multiple sheets of this. I just want this to be a quick project. I just thought I would film the process and share with you guys, because might as well. And you can go over the top with this as well. Now, I've never made a junk journal. Well, I have made a bit of a junk journal before, but I've never made like a proper one with an old book cover and things like that. So this is my first, but I've watched a lot of videos, so I'm hoping it'll turn out okay. And it's just for fun, really. I'm really into kind of witchy things at the moment, like kind of celestial and just kind of potions and things like that. So I just thought this would be nice for me to keep. And I'm doing it now because it's Halloweenish, but I like this stuff all the time. So it's something I would make regardless of Halloween. I think a lot of people are the same, but I thought it might be a bit more popular around this time of the year. This looks really gross at the moment. Obviously this is going to be covered in paint. I'm thinking a deep purple. That'd be a good idea to just coat the whole thing in blue first. This book I actually received for free. I think it was 10p from a in the works sale, but my sister bought it by mistake or something. I don't know. Anyway, she said, "Do you want it for your craft?" And I was like, yeah, I can tear that apart and use it somehow. So it doesn't really matter what book. Hardbacks are good to use for this sort of thing. And I'm not sure what kind of binding I'm going to use. I think just as kind of standard binding. I think they call it pamphlet stitch. But I think I'll attach it to something else and then glue that in the book rather than bind it into the book, because otherwise you get the stuff on the outside, which might be quite nice, but I'll see. I've not really thought about that yet. I'm just going to do the cover first. But yeah, you could get books like this from the charity shop, thrift stores, anywhere really, for really cheap, and just customise them. So this is quite wet now, so I'll probably leave that to dry and then turn over the edges. The problem is I'm impatient and I want to do it now, so let's just try and do that. I do have this mat down that I got from IKEA, so that can always be cleaned anyway. Just don't want it to stick. So what is everyone making? Do people make stuff at Halloween? Is this a thing? I'm not big on Halloween, but like I say, I like all this kind of witchy stuff. So yeah, I just do any of this kind of stuff. Crystals and things like that, and autumny themed stuff, alchemy kind of stuff I really like. This could be a potions book, it could be a spell book, it could be like a celestial journal, anything. There's loads of inspiration you can get. And people sell like junk journal kits to specific themes on Etsy, so you could get like a junk journal kit to suit whatever kind of journal you're making, or you can just make it up as you go along like I'm doing. I'm probably just gonna use old book pages and music paper and stuff, and then maybe get some kind of paper pad that's celestial themed. So this bit here I'll probably tear off, but let's just get it all covered, make sure it's still usable. Looks kind of like it's covered in spider webs and old cloth and stuff, so that looks really cool. So yeah, let's tear a bit of this excess off because we really don't need all that. And that's how I would go about making a texture. I use tissue paper quite a lot for stuff like this, like for Halloween crafts, and it always looks really effective. So yeah, I'd highly recommend that, and look, that took 5 minutes, and that's looking pretty cool. Now if you do have bits like this that stick out, you could tear them off. I think once we go over with the paint, it won't matter too much. So I'm going to leave it like that to dry, and then we can go over with a coat of paint and then maybe put some glue gun on it. And I do have like a gilding wax thing as well, which might look quite good. It's kind of a brown colour, so I'm not sure whether it will work, but if you have like a gold or silver gilding wax, that could look really good, because then when you rub it on, all the details of this will show up. So yeah, that could be quite cool. I think just maybe a little bit of glue here. I'm just going to have to make a rip there. Just make sure it's all stuck down. Make sure these recesses are still recesses, so when it's actually usable as a book. And yeah, I think that'll do. So I'll be back when it's dry and we will paint it. Okay, so I have let it dry, and it's overnight, and it's nice and textured now, and it's looking quite spooky. I've got my hot glue gun on charge, on power, because I'm thinking to do the patterns first. But I was just thinking, instead of doing it freehand, you could actually use a pencil and sketch the design, if you're not sure about going freehand. Now, I have seen all sorts of amazing books on Google that people have made and that you can buy, designs and stuff like that, but I want to keep this really simple because it's not something that I'd want to put a lot of time into, to be honest. It's just a quick fun project. So I'm thinking like a witchy symbol. It's like a circle, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a star in a circle. So I might just sketch that on quickly, and then I might just put spell book on it, or to be honest, if this looks quite nice as it is, I might just keep it like this. So yeah, just a rough circle. It's going to be quite hard to draw with the glue gun anyway, so I wouldn't worry about making it look perfect. It's supposed to look a little bit battered and old and kind of a bit magical, so I wouldn't worry too much. So there's my circle, and it's one of these stars that goes, and obviously this is going to be painted over, so you don't need to worry about getting it. If you make a mistake, it doesn't matter. You don't even have to do it in pencil. You could do it in pen if you wanted, if you really wanted to be able to see it. So it's like a triangle like this, and then it's got like a, sorry, I hope you can see, I probably should do it in a pen, but I'll do it in pencil first, then go over it. Then it's like a triangle like that. It's literally just 2 triangles, really Really quite easy. It's some sort of occult or witchy symbol. I'm not entirely sure what it means. I'm going to try and find out because I'm interested in all this stuff, so it would be interesting to know. And I'm just thinking, is that how it goes? Or is it, I actually have it on a bag, bear with me. So I have this amazing bag. It's so lovely. It's got cats on it and it's got all witchy things on it. You probably won't be able to see it properly in the camera this far, but this is the symbol here that I'm looking to get. So let's try and copy that. I don't know if what I'm doing is actually quite right, but like I say, it doesn't really matter. It's not, because it's like an arrowhead on the bottom there, so it's more like that. So it's like that, and then like that. Then ones do attach. So now let's get a Sharpie and go over it. So that's the general shape of it. And I'm just thinking this circle needs to be a little bit bigger on this side. Okay, and then I might put spell book. So again, I'll sketch with my pencil. Okay, so I've got a bit of a guide there. We'll see how it turns out. So with the glue gun heated up, I'm going to work from top to bottom, because if I started here, I'd then put my hand in it, even though it does dry very quick, so it doesn't really matter, but let's give it a go. I've never actually drew with a glue gun before, so this might not even be readable. I don't have a steady hand, so that's not really helping. I think the key is to use quite a bit of glue and create a string with it. That's how it's looking now, so it's looking okay. It will really come out when the paint's on it. What you can also do is kind of create like a cobwebby effect by using glue and then kind of letting the thread, the stringy bits come out. I've done this before and it looks quite good as well. So I'm just gonna do build up a bit on the corners, so it looks more of a tomby kind of thing, but I'm not gonna worry about these strings because look, they look really cool. So just like a little random pattern. I'm not doing anything particular there. So what you do is let that dry. It's not going to take long, but I would leave it a good 5 or 10 minutes and then you can paint over it. Yeah, so that bit's already dry. The glue kind of goes a little bit white as it dries, so you should be able to tell. Now, in terms of colour, I am thinking, again, I'm not overthinking it too much. I'm going to use a ready mixed colour here. I was thinking blue, navy blue, but I think I'm stuck between navy blue and purple, so I say I'm not overthinking it, but I'll probably end up mixing the two now. No, I think we'll go with purple and see what it looks like, because that was my original plan. I'm thinking for the pages just to do a load of tea-dyed pages and bind some signatures, because again, I don't really want to go overboard. I just want kind of a plainish journal, and then I can add to it however I want. So I'm not even going to get a palette out at this point. I'm going to let this dry. It's pretty much dry now. I actually think that'll be fine. Could put something on the spine as well, but I just think that's such a small space. I'm not going to try that. I'm just going to dollop some paint on. I'm really not even going to overthink it much. I've got a brush here, and your paint will go right over your hot glue gun. It might need a few coats, and the glue gun does look a little bit glossy at first, but it'll be fine in the end. And you can use something like a gilding or even just a gold Sharpie to go over your letters and that, to make them a bit more obvious. So let's just get this painted up. It is going to need a few coats, but this one's a transparent one, so it's never that opaque. Do you know what I might actually do? Because I don't want it looking perfect and I want it looking a bit mottled and things, I'm actually going to add this blue into the mix, just wet on wet, and maybe create some cool effects. Yeah, because I think the purple is maybe a little bit bright. So just adding this to the mix and making like an ombre-ish kind of effect. I think that might look cool. It's just an intuitive process, really. I didn't want to plan it too much. I just wanted to kind of go for it and see what it turned out like. I'm going to try and balance the colour out a bit. Don't think about it too much, just there's quite a lot of purple going across. Use some blue in the corners. Try not to make it too symmetrical, just make it look very intuitive. And then I go round the edges, but I'm going to let this dry first. And obviously it will need another coat, because you can still see quite a bit of red, especially in the purple areas. And it doesn't look great on camera, but it's looking quite cool in real life. So hopefully this should work out. But if you don't like the colour, you can just paint over it. Could do it black. Obviously your writing and stuff in your design is going to be much more noticeable once you put something else over it. So some kind of gilding wax or another colour or something like that. So I'm going to leave that now. And we will next do the edges and maybe pop together some pages ready to go in. I've decided I'm going to do this video in parts, so I'm going to finish up with this bit here for today. I've done another layer of paint on the cover. I think that's going to be enough now. So next time we'll look at adding some more detail, and then we'll look at filling the book with pages. So I'm just thinking maybe a couple of signatures. I have pre-dyed some tea-dyed papers and got a few other kind of bits of papers that you can generally find around your house, so we'll go ahead and bind them in another part as well. But for now, this has just been the cover. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you feel inspired to create something spooky for Halloween or just in general too. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.